Yes, my people, good day. This is the old motor, the broken motor, and we are stripping it down so that we can reuse the parts that we are going to reuse and start reassembling the replacement motor. One of the things that we have to be replacing is the harness, the wiring harness, because when they remove the old harness from the harness from the donor engine, they cut it. So you have to now take your harness off and put it onto the donor motor. So all these components that are plugged in are going to have to be unplugged, take the whole harness off, and then place onto the other engine. So it is a little bit of a job and it can be a little bit daunting, but you just take it one step at a time. This is the thermostat housing. This plug here was damaged by the belt. It was rubbing on it. But fortunately, the one on the donor engine is still good, so I will cut it off and solder the other good one on so that we have good parts, right? I'm going to start with the ignition coils, work my way that, start on this side and work my way that way. So they have locks on them, so you slide them back, and then the same piece that you slide back you push down on, and then you can work the connector loose. Boom, boom, like so, like that. All right, these manufacturers use a lot of inverted torques and torques. You're not really going to be using a lot of sockets per se. As often as you can use a automated tool, use it every 2 seconds, save time, it adds up at the end of the day. So all right, so we're getting a little bit loose here. This is our ground strap. All right, one right here, one right there. Okay, starting to get a little bit more loose. There's one right here. Okay, I'm plugged in right there, so I need to unplug this. Sometimes some of these plugs can't even remember where they go because there's so many, but fortunately they're all different designs and styles. So like this one came from here, so I'll just leave him plugged in, reduce the options. Okay, so this is a fuel injector right here, so I'm pushing back on the tab and then pushing down and then pulling up. This connector here is on there kind of sturdy, and if you can see, the fuel rail is bolted on top of this wiring harness here. Let me remove this bracket to see if I can sneak it out that way, but it doesn't really matter anyway now because I'm not saving the fuel rail on this thing, so I'm not going to do too much extra stuff. I'm just threading these bolts back in, reduce the bolt count on the ground when I am ready to do my stuff. I'm gonna undo this. This is a vacuum hose. Look like it might be a map sensor or something. All right, so you see starting to get a little bit loose. It was, and then start get stuck. Now this plug here, trying to see if I can finesse it, figure out how they have it in, because it's after you force it and break it, that's when you realize. Had to get my light, see if I can see. Oh, there you go. All right, we're getting a little bit better now. A little bit better. I think if I remove that bracket now, it should be good. Let's try. Oh wow, that worked out nicely. So that's good. I'm going to need this bracket to pick the engine back up, so can't toss it away too far. Let me unplug this. This looks like another kind of map sensor again, or intake air temp sensor. So I took this bolt out here, so I just thread it back in. One less bolt to keep a track on. All right, who's next? Where are we now? Okay, fuel injector here. Push back up, push that up, tab, push down, pull back. The engine computer sits on these brackets, so I'm going to just remove the entire bracket reinstall it just like that. Crack it loose a little bit first. Alright, that whole thing right there. This hose looks like it unplugs. It's not unplugging there. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Okay, so okay, I can undo it there and leave it there and deal with that afterwards. Alright, this is the other fuel injector. Push back on it, pull up, and it's off. So you know this one's in the middle, and this one's over here, and then the other one came around for there. It's difficult to mix them up. You can if you don't pay attention, but if you just let it lay, you'll see where it goes. We're heading that way. So this next. Okay. All right. Harness now. I have some plugs that go down in the back. We undo those. One of them here looks like it goes to the coolant circulation pump. It's like an electric pump for the coolant. Like so if the car is off, it can still circulate the coolant. So if you have heat, you can still have heat. So unplug that. This plug is for the throttle body. I have the crank sensor. So easy to get to now that the engine is out. When it's in the car, I got it. Tricky to get to, but I got it. All right, so we're making progress now. We can flip this up like so. Early and bright one Saturday morning in our country. That is a classic. That's a classic by Lieutenant Stitchy. What we unplugging now? What are we unplugging now? This looks like intake air temp again. We have a injector right here in the back. Just be gentle. They come off easy, but if you rough them too much, they will crack. Ignition coils again. That one no cooperate. All right, slide back. Slide back. It's probably back already. It was. Push down. Come back. All right, boom, boom, boom. Undo this ground strap here. So we have a ground strap on each side. Yep. Not if I use that as well. We don't use it again. Alright, so this is ready to come up, but something holding it. Look like something under this bracket. So let's remove that bracket and see. Move this bracket and see. See what's up. Y'all a drop screw down in that blouse and sketching. See it? This was hidden. That was hidden under there. So now this is supposed to. Alright. Get back to the screw right here. One step two. Don't stress the thing. Don't rush the thing. Alright. I don't know. I like putting the bolts back where they were. So I have less bolts to stay a tracker. Even though I am not going to keep this engine, I guarantee that by the time I'm almost done fitting this thing up, I'm going to be wondering where a bolt went or where's what or something. Just keep them there until the engine is all back together and running and driving and test drive and come back and everything nice before we throw anything out. Boom, boom. Slide that back. Alright, and push down and pull out. Alright, let me see where we at. Let's see where we at. See if we can remove this harness now. It goes all the way underneath the intake manifold for a knock sensor. Wow. It is below the intake manifold for the knock sensor. Now I could cut the wire and resolder it, but I don't like working like that. See? Everybody is loose except one. You see that? Everybody loose except one, and that's the knock sensor. So now we are going to remove the intake manifold. Fortunately, it's not too difficult to take off right now, but I'm going to have to buy a new intake manifold gasket for the replacement engine, which is fine. It's just what it is. You're doing the job, just do it right. In Jamaica, we say just do it right and done. Just do it right and done. So boom. Fortunately, we can get to these straight. So this is the intake manifold. So we're going to remove the intake manifold now. Yup. 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 Another day in the life of a technician. Boom. Another day in the life of a technician. Hopefully those are the only bolts. Now this hose needs to come off. So I'll take it off from the intake manifold there. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just remove this box from here because it is itching. It is itching to go snack and crack. That's what it's itching to do. So let us just remove it and put it out of harm's way so we don't have no headache to deal with. This has to do with crankcase ventilation. So see, comes off of this valve cover, and this is what it looks like under there. So the vapors come out the valve cover into here, it processes it, and then allows it to be burned back into the engine. This is the piece that goes into the throttle body. See that? Crazy. All right, this thing should be ready to come off now. See? Nice, nice. Wasn't too bad, wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Up and out. Yo, look at that. Why, look at that. Look at your intake runners. This thing has variable intake runners, and all these vacuum switching valves vary the length of the runners depending on how much torque you need. Crazy, not just an intake anymore. All right, so this is a head, this is a head, this is the block V, and these are knock sensors. One knock sensor, two knock sensor. So just squeeze and wiggle and pull back. Woo. Man, they're tricky. Something you have to push back down and then man, tricky. All right, that's okay. You know what? You know what's trying to happen? It's trying to break, and we are not breaking anything. So as soon as we feel ourselves starting to get a little bit frustrated, we just step back for a little bit, reassess. Sometimes you wonder, what's really going on? Out of all the plugs we did, this one here wants to be most difficult. Shoo, man, my goodness. They haven't been pulled in ages, so there we go. So, yes, my people, see the harness here? Harness is off. Get ready to put it on the other engine.